one morning, we had been going on morning walks every morning with Srila Prabhupada. And we were driving back in the car, and I said, Srila Prabhupada, you said that if a tree has fruit, then it becomes beautiful. And if a woman has a child, then she becomes beautiful. So I said, when does a disciple become beautiful? So I'm thinking, oh boy, this is such a nice question. It is such a nice metaphor. Just praising myself. Such a nice question. And Prabhupada immediately laced into me. Prabhupada said, "Oh, you have not read our books? What is the meaning of this verse? Adana called homoneage. What is the meaning?" And I said, "I don't know, Srila Prabhupada." Prabhupada looked at me and he said, parrot-like chanting. So, of course, I was driving, and I could not jump out of the car. And there were sannyasis in the car. I think Brahmananda, Guru Kripa, everyone knows Brahmananda, Guru Kripa, they're all heavy duty. So they gave me the sannyasi look, like, Sukadeva, what's he doing asking Prabhupada this kind of question? The sour look. I'm just, oh, Krishna. So then Prabhupada says, what is the meaning of this? Yasya prasada bhagavad prasado. I said, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets the mercy of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, yes. When the disciple is strictly following the order of the spiritual master, then he is beautiful. Otherwise, he is ugly. When the disciple is strictly following the orders of the spiritual master, then he is beautiful. Otherwise, he is ugly. Also, another time when I was in Hawaii, I went directly to Prabhupada and I said, Prabhupada, I don't want to stay here. I said, these devotees don't like me. I don't want to go. I'm having trouble. And I just want to get out of here. And Prabhupada said, no, you will stay. I'm going, I want to go, Prabhupada. No, you will stay. He said, depend on Krishna, and Krishna will save you. Depend on Krishna, and Krishna will save you. So, somehow or other, I wound up in Hawaii, and I've been praying. Of course, this was in 1976, and I didn't realize that Prabhupada was obviously going to leave his body in 1977, but I had been praying. I would love to do some direct service with Srila Prabhupada. I'm just praying for that, direct service. So, Hari Sari came to my office, and he said, Prabhupada wants one of those Coleman stoves, Coleman burner. And I said, what for? He said, well, Prabhupada's going to cook his own prasadam. And why would Prabhupada cook his own prasadam? We have so many devotees here, no one's sincere enough to cook directly for Prabhupada. He said, well, the girl who's been doing this service, she's adding too much salt. And Prabhupada told her, and she still continued, so therefore now he's going to cook his own. I said, well, even though I'm president, because as soon as Prabhupada would go somewhere, immediately the whole movement and the unlimited activity. So I said, well, even though there's so much going on, I'll cook directly for Prabhupada. I'll cook. So, first day I made prasadam, and of course, there's no instruction. Here you are, you have to cook for the spiritual master of the universe, and you have no instructions. So it was like, I cooked, and I asked Hari Sari, who was his personal servant at that time, how was the prasadam? And he said, Prabhupada said everything was good, but the dal, it was untouchable. So immediately I was in shock. And I asked Hari Sari, well, what has to be done? The way that Prabhupada wanted the dal cooked was completely merged. That is no beans, just completely all soup. I said, well, yeah, no problem. So fixed the prashadam next day, and I said, how was the prashadam? And Harisari said, Papa said, everything is perfect. So just by hearing Prabhupada saying everything was perfect, I've never felt such intense happiness, and I wanted to run outside and just jump up and down. I mean, I just remember feeling so much ecstasy in that Prabhupada said that everything is perfect. Prabhupada not only would say that you have to become like the bumblebee and not like the fly, but Prabhupada proved it. Narayan, who a lot of people know in Los Angeles, he was in the temple room singing, and everyone knows, well, maybe not everyone knows, but a few of us who are in the know that he does not sing like a nightingale. So he was in the temple room singing, and Prabhupada said, who's that singing? And Karana said, oh, it's Narayan, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, he keeps very good time. Yes. So Prabhupada didn't come out directly and said, he sings like a frog. He keeps very good time. So one time, Harisari, his alarm clock went off. And Prabhupada said, what is that sound? He said, oh, that's the alarm clock, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, oh, who is in danger? And I remember looking at Harisari, we were like, wow, our spiritual master has a sense of humor. We just couldn't believe it. Because we never heard Prabhupada use a play on words or puns or sarcasm. Prabhupada didn't make a habit of it, but Prabhupada said, oh, who's in danger? We were just laughing. Our spiritual master has a sense of humor. Pusta Krishna said, Prabhupada, what should I do with this bug? And I was thinking, who in the universe, who in this city of Hawaii, who in Hawaii can we go to ask, what do you do with this bug? I mean, if you go to the mayor of Hawaii, you go to the governor, can you ask him, what do you do with this bug? He will look at you like you're just a crazy person. Why is he asking me? You squish him, do whatever. You cannot go to anyone. You can't go to the President of the United States and ask him, what do you do with this bug? But here he was asking this question to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada didn't look at him as if he was crazy. He didn't look at him like, that this is something odd or bizarre. Prabhupada said, take him to the window. So Pusta Krishna goes over to the window and lets the bug out the window. Prabhupada said, this is Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is kind to every living entity, not this squishing business. So we were immediately amazed that Prabhupada, what to do with this bug? Prabhupada made it a Krishna conscious event. That this is Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is kind to every living entity, not this squishing business. Prabhupada was there in the temple room, and Prabhupada was sitting up on stage, and to Prabhupada's right was Lord Jagannath. So we were having, this was on La Cienega Boulevard. And at the end of the class, some Christian was there, and he was speaking some nonsense philosophy. And Prabhupada wasn't even looking at him. Prabhupada was just simply sitting there, And he would look over at Lord Jagannath, and he'd look back. I mean, it's like the guy wasn't even existing. But Prabhupada was listening to everything that he said. And then Prabhupada looked at him and he said, Christ said, thou shalt not kill. Why are you killing? At that time I was a new devotee. And of course meat eater. But Prabhupada talked like that, it scared the meat eating right out of me. And everyone in that temple room was frozen. And the Christian, there was nothing for him to say. He had plenty of time to say something. He had plenty of time to respond. There was nothing to say. Christ said, thou shalt not kill. And Prabhupada just didn't say it. He screamed it. He didn't say it. He screamed it. Christ said, thou shalt not kill. Why are you killing? And the potency coming from Prabhupada saying that was immediate. There was no philosophy that you had to learn. There was nothing that you had to retain or absorb. Prabhupada was so powerful. When he said that, your realization was immediate. You would never think of eating meat again in front of Srila Prabhupada. And his speaking like that was just like if there was a tree and if there's a cold wind and if there's a few leaves left. I mean, it was like a few leaves getting completely blown off a tree. Prabhupada blew all the nonsense right out of that person. And anyone else there was convinced not ever to eat meat. Je anilo premadana koruna prachu